recording. Cool. Right.
Yeah, I
Lord.
was gonna say we should get someone recording.
Yeah, I'm recording. Lord Silas is just like, what is going on here? I'm gonna unmute him just because. If we get a lot of people, then we'll probably have to move. What's up, Blab?
How's it going, man?
It's going alright.
Good to hear.
Oryx 3, Rotten Meg. Filter by this week. Was it this month? I need to find freaking cussing Canadians in Soul Shift's VODs. Are they in
I have the YouTube VOD for feet pics, but I don't have the Twitch VOD.
Either one works.
Okay, here.
YouTube one is in a strategy discussion.
Strat discussion.
Yeah, I just sent the link too. It's from his POV, so.
Alright, I'll just gotta... Let me just see Soul Shift. Soul Shift TV. Let's see if he uploaded it to YouTube. If not, then I'm just gonna use his Twitch one. Alrighty, alright, let's go to Twitch.
In the comments, he posted, or someone posted the celestial timestamps as well. So it's
Yeah.
easier to find.
Yeah, that was me.
Oh, that was you. Okay.
That's kind of funny.
Gotcha. I was like, wait a minute, Blabby.
I'm kind of tempted to make this training public. Just like not do a ping, but like just in like general or announcements say join lounge for an Oryx 3 like raid leading / rating guide or yeah.
Something of the sorts, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. I missed a phase.
Also for future, are the AFK checks and stuff for runes gonna be done basically the same way as like vials? Like, are we just gonna let people with runes come to the runs regardless of like their sets and stuff, or? Cause like I have 2 guildies that also got runes, and I'm willing to like pay them for them to pop it for us. I just don't know if they'd be like just popping and then leaving, or if they'd join the run.
I love how I said no ping for this, but I still decided to add here.
Yeah,
I just quickly edited that out. I was like, nope, okay. Alright. Let's see here. Gold giveaway. Oh god, where's the VOD? Which one is it? No. I know Feet Pix was a puss sometimes, and Soul Shift was also a puss sometimes.
Yeah.
100 views? I have to guess it's the one with 100 views. Alright. Deca03. So, believe it or not, Celestial I personally think will be easier. And I'll share the cheese strat with Celestial beforehand. Screens. Alright, I'm gonna just do Google Chrome for now. Because I don't know. Can you see my mouse if I have Google Chrome up? On a share screen?
Yes. Yes.
Yes? Okay. Well, that's good. Because I don't necessarily want everyone seeing my desktop and everything. So that's good. Cool. Alrighty. Alright, Discord. Okay, react with pings to my message. Alrighty. So, essentially, everyone, we're gonna divide this up into 3 main sections as far as the overall outlook goes. The first one is going to be going over mini bosses, and then we're going to go over the new mini boss because for those of you who don't know, I've already done private sessions like this with people like currently TRL or higher, and then we are gonna go over Beza or whatever his name is, and talk about discussion and strategy for him, because I haven't really explored that as deep as I would like to, which is why if you have questions or things that you'd like to ask, please do so in the strategy discussion and keep it to a minimum. If there's something really pressing, go ahead, but like, yeah. All right. So first off, we're gonna go over the mini bosses. So we're gonna do YouTube because I like YouTube better because I can see things like this better. So talking about quite simply the runes. So according to our announcement, which is probably way lowballing what the actual rune totals are, we've got about 50 of each from the event, which is not bad, and I assume we have probably double, triple that, what the reacts are. So I'd say we probably are into the well over the 150s area, but we'll see. Anyways, once we get past Oryx 3, you'll see this, and I assume that jug is a placeholder for whenever there's a helmet rune, but basically you got a sword, we assume have a sword stand there, shield there, helmet there, and then just, use them as if they're inks. If all three are popped, then, then we get access to Oryx Sanctuary. So there you go.
I
Once
just
all
wanna
three are done, yeah, go ahead. Feel free.
jump in there really quick. Just to clarify, if say one or two people pop a rune and the third person doesn't, they do refund the 2 runes that were popped initially back to you. There is like a timer.
Yeah, so like you can see here, he decides to use the shield. Maybe this will work. He uses the shield, and then since it waits a little while, or maybe sword and shield, it turns back to the shield, and he has to reuse it. So that's kind of giving it back to you and not actually taking it until all 3 are used. So, yeah. Anyways, so Gimsbach, we're going to start off with Gimsbach. I'm not going to spend a ton of time. I will talk briefly about the minions, but minion patterns should be pretty much finalized, but they're not going to be a huge issue whenever it comes to talking about. I'm going to mute good old Beat Picks. Good guy. Oh well. Minion patterns, you can think of it like shatters. They're all going to have the exact same spawn every single time. It's not randomized, so you could imagine shatters. So for example, first switch always has, you've got your start over, well, I actually don't remember the layout of shatters. I'm a bot. You've got, basically, think of the map, you've got the little pole here, and then you've got the first switch that's over here. You always have that same tower, the stone tower that's spawning over there. So that's essentially how all of the spawns are. If you could predict every spawn in the shatters, that's essentially how clearing these go. You know exactly what is going to be everywhere. So for example, that guy's always going to be like right there, and so forth, so on. All the spawns are exactly the same. Guys to watch out for that when raid leaders are calling, and if you are looking to become a raid leader, these guys are ones to look out for. I think these are the ones, yeah. Current name for them right now I have is Ring Pop, because what they'll do is, without warning, which I think is kind of stupid, they will just teleport randomly. They'll just teleport, and they shoot a ring that can completely insta-pop you. So it's really good to watch out for those. He's all the way zoomed out on the minimap. You can see them on the minimap as they move around you, so if you pay attention to the minimap, it's pretty easy to tell. The only other enemy in the dungeon that teleports is not too scary, but the ring pops, very, very scary enemy. I don't know what their official name is, but the rest of them are pretty much just harder shatters enemies to clear. A few of them are riskier than others, but ultimately they're not super bad. So once we get here, for example, I know there's going to be a black. Actually, no, they changed up this room. Oh, okay, they made it 3 sections. Did they change up the spawns? They may have changed up the spawns. For example, though, it used to be like one of the first enemies you'd see in this section is right here. There'd always be a black guy that can do paralyzes and so forth, so on. but it should be set spawns unless things have changed. I'm not going to drive it in super hard because I don't know if it's going to be set spawns yet, but it should be. So they did change up the spawns a little bit though since testing, which was to be expected. I think they also patched out trickster cheesing, which is smart. So Gimsbach did not change a whole lot from testing. They did change him a little bit, but not as much as I thought they were going to. So his teleports give you just a hair more time to hit him whenever he teleports, but the only real effective strategy is staying in a corner. So whatever corner the raid leader chooses, usually bottom left, seems like what everyone naturally goes towards. Stay in the corner. If he teleports, for say here, everyone just go there, try and get a shot in or two, and then he'll teleport somewhere else. If he goes mid, then go mid, so forth, so on. Chasing him is pretty futile and pointless, so yeah. After, I think, 6 or so teleports, unless it's changed, he will go middle, and there's a decent damage phase before he begins his teleports again relatively quickly. There he goes. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and should go mid. There he goes. Get a little bit of damage in, and then he's back to teleporting around everywhere. So not super hard, but it's just kind of a long, tedious fight. I'll skip through most of the boring part because it's just kind of that repeating until you get him to like half health. Sometimes he'll go middle for longer. Sometimes he'll just be a nerd and not go very far. And for every teleport, by the way, he shoots an extra wave of shots. So for say, that was teleport number 4. You can see that there's more shots lining up. Teleport 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots. And then teleport 6, he just goes back mid. So every teleport, he shoots more shots. So if he teleports, 4 at the bottom, 5 on the left, and your bottom left, just, you're going to want to call heals if you're a raid leader, or if you're a raider, try and dodge as much as you can. Going forward, this phase is actually really cool. I like this. It's a gimmick phase, but it's really cool. You can see whenever he comes mid at about half health, just under maybe, he shoots out 3 coins in a triangle shape, and one of them will flash dark, and you're going to want to follow that coin. That's the one you're going to want to shoot, and you basically just get a free damage phase, making the phase easier. So he doesn't track it, but you can kind of track it really easily if you know what to look for. And moving is kind of aids, but I think it was bottom right. Did they get the right one? No, they got the right one. Ha! Never mind. And moving around kind of threw me up, and it's not a great playback, but usually I'm, pretty consistent with that. After you do that phase, though, and do free damage phase, hopefully you kill the correct coin. If not, it's just a damage phase, but you have to actually dodge. He will teleport around again, but instead of just teleporting randomly, you actually have to push him. So the group would have to go up in this instance, get close to him, do damage, and then make him teleport again. Go over there, push him once more, and then he will go back to mid for his kind of last stand. Oh, they actually made it 3 teleports. Or they're just doing damage too slow. Oh, no, he doesn't go mid. He just does a 3rd teleport, and you finish him off at the 3rd teleport. Okay, that's what it was. No? Okay, you know what? They changed him. Whatever. Basically, he does 3 teleports instead of 2, as he did old patch, and then once he goes back mid after those forced pushes, then that's his final phase. And you can get greater life and greater mana, which is kind of cool. I hope it drops tops or Lost Halls tops. Be kind of nice, but if not, oh well. Oryx 3. For raid leaders, if you're looking to become a raid leader, you're going to have to be much more proactive. Actually, okay, I'm doing mini bosses first. I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll get to Oryx 3, don't worry. Mini boss, is this Dama? Wait, did we just Nexus? Did he just Nexus or DC at Dama? The heck? He just Nexus. The heck? Oh, I think they were looking for the new one. No? Oh yeah, this is no, this is the new one. Okay, cool. So this is the new one. I personally haven't watched over this one enough to give you a real good insight onto what I think should be the main strategy facing him. So we're gonna do that one last before doing Oryx 3, just to talk discussion, like talk strategy and stuff like that. Once again, clearing, it set spawns all the time, but it's dictated by which direction. So if you're going left from spawn, then you know you're going to have a certain set of enemies. If you go up, you're going to have a different certain set of enemies. If you go right, different certain set of enemies, but the spawns will always be the same, and as you run it more, you'll understand which way has which spawns where and what to look out for. These guys, a lot of them are very chasey and do sicken and a lot of ugly status effects, but once again, if you just kind of listen or like learn their patterns over the course of a couple days, most of them aren't too scary. So this one got changed quite a bit to do more damage and also quiets, which is pretty good for making it not a complete steamroll and you actually have to dodge. In testing, it could be just straight face tanked, and they changed it to where that's no longer the case. You can stay close. It's not as scary as our boy Feet Picks makes it look. You can stay relatively close, and if the people that are healing dodge quiets, you'll be totally fine. So, yeah. I'm used to green shots doing... Oh, wait, no, those didn't do quiets. Okay. Anyways, this phase is another easy one. It's really pretty easy to stay close to him and dodge. Feet Picks doesn't do very good justice of that here, but during this middle phase, it's not super hard to stay close. You just don't want to get paralyzed. That little shot right there that shoots from the little lamps or the chandeliers, whatever, those will paralyze you, so you actually want to be as close as possible to him so you don't get paralyzed. When he comes down to bottom, Feet Picks doesn't want to stand below him because that would be very small brain. Those purple shots do quiet, so most likely in a team strat we would have Priest and Pallies in the back while everyone else stands up doing damage, and the Priest and Pallies can still heal in the back, and it should be pretty simple. This one used to be the easiest, and it still looks to be the easiest, but not by much necessarily. But I definitely don't think it's the hardest. And then, once again, standing close to the boss here is pretty tactical. Just this phase is really easy to do damage if you're standing back. I mean, no one's gonna go noob. So standing back is fine. I know Feet Picks was watching his stream chat a lot and trying to ask questions while playing the game, so I can't blame him a whole ton. Did he get a red bag? Oh, he did get a red bag. UBHP? Nice. Anyways. That's basically all for, I just call him LaCroix. I don't know I don't remember. It's like LaCroix or something like that, but I just call him LaCroix, like the water. And, yeah, he's pretty easy. Let's see here, who's the last one that we need to go over? We need to go over Dama. This is Dama. Alright, cool. And they were getting some tile bugs, which are kind of funny. Alright. First phase will always be this wall of daggers. I think you're supposed to not shoot him during this first phase, or else he'll do a counter. And so a counter basically means if you shoot him when you're not supposed to, he'll inflict a status effect on you, and since they shot him as soon as they walked into the room, you know, everyone got sickened. For this phase, it's not too bad though. He always opens up with this wall of knives, and you just want to weave your way through, back and forth, back and forth. You shouldn't rely on heals, and this is one of the reasons that we made speed a requirement. On top of Oryx 3 being very speed dependent, this phase alone for Dama, if you're not above like 35 speed, you're actually not, you just won't be able to do it, which is kind of sad. And Feet Picks here almost dies like a bot, but he was close, This phase, once again, standing close isn't too bad if you have healers, which we will be making a requirement for runs. We'll have reacts for healing classes. Standing close to him is not too bad. These spears and axes make for a pretty nutty combo. I would say Dama is probably the hardest of the ones so far that we've really gone through, depending on how hard Beza is. So, yeah, but as you can see, it's not too bad to stay up close to him, even, I say even Feet Picks was doing it. This phase, though, is kind of annoying if you're getting chased by this. It does sicken, I'm pretty sure, or sicken or slow. I think it's sicken, which is really annoying, but you have to be, you don't have to be super scared about it, because these shots here, actually, if you're above, like, 200 health, maybe even, like, 150, these only do like 50 base damage or something like that, so running through it is like running through the sprite worlds, like little blue things on a 0-8. So it's like, yeah, you'll take some damage, but it's not too scary. And just having someone drag that around is kind of nice. If it gets locked onto you, no need to panic. It won't sit on you unless you stand still, because it moves relatively slow. But yeah, it can be kind of spook. And then it does that shot, which can insta-pop if you stand on top of it. Once again, this phase, I think he does it at about half health. They all get silenced. Fun time. Or no, that's silenced. Yeah. Oh, they just do silence. Never mind. I'm a bot. Anyways, dodging that phase, not too bad. This final phase, once again, this fight remained basically unchanged from testing to now, so it should be pretty easy. During this phase, just call out if you are looking to raid lead. Call out, dodge these blue shots. These are pet stasis. If not, really just kind of group up and try and do as much damage as possible while being close to him, because it's not super scary, other than eating a pet stasis and then not being able to heal. Had to go burp. Alright, this phase though, actual kind of cancer. Once you see this, you're gonna want to stay with the group or stand still. There's really no way else to do it. I still haven't figured out which one's better, but from what I've seen, everyone's been rotating, and decoys will also be super useful. So if we have brains or decoys, it'll be extremely useful because they lock onto the nearest player and target them. And so having decoys just scattered around will divert shots from the group. But the reason this phase is so AIDS, these green shots sicken, these ones silence. So if you get sickened and silenced, you can't heal with HP pots, or you can't heal with the group. And since they nerfed pallies, you can't heal through sicken anyway. So it's just, you really have to focus on dodging the silence at all cost. It's kind of like if you get hit by one, you want to make yourself be able to get hit by the other, but not the same one twice. Because staying sickened through this whole fight will actually just completely wreck you. And it's really annoying to get sickened. And feet picks should die here. No? Oh, wow. And it's damage push. It's not on a timer, so you have to do a certain amount of damage to push him through that phase. But, yeah. So that phase is kind of bad. If you have a pretty decent DPS-oriented group who isn't scared, though, you reduce the amount of time that you spend doing that phase. But I expect a few people to die every run on that phase where we have to do Dama, which is just kind of how the nature of the phase is with how ridiculously hard it is. I do think Tricksters will help a boatload though. And then once again, we've got the phase where we've got the pet stasis and the fireballs. Once again, just dodge the pet stasis, go in and do damage. Usually this is the phase before he dies. And indeed it is. So, good job. Alright, I'm going to go to pull up Discord on my phone so I can read chat and keep this full screen on strategy discussion. I'll address any questions you guys have had over the first three real quickly. Strategy discussion. Yeah, hashtag strategy discussion right under raid status announcements. Or is this locked and can you see it? Pre-skit location for that phase? Yes. I mean, we'll have it being interesting. So, okay, so no questions so far, it seems. If you do have any questions during this talk, my TED talk, just put it in hashtag strategy discussion, and I'll do my best to answer them in a timely manner.
In terms of minions for mini bosses, are we going to be trying to full clear it every time, or are we going to just try and find the most efficient route to the boss?
There's definitely, so for example, where's the water boy LaCroix? This one? For this room here, this one here, this gray room, you can clear only the left side and kill enough enemies to open it up. And so if you kill only the enemies on the left side, then you can just clean path your way there and maybe kill one or two at the top. But with the nature of Oryx 3 and there's likely going to be crashers, I would say full clearing is likely the best option. And then once we get enough enemies dead, rushing is an option, but I don't think it's a great idea just for how much damage the enemies do. Because, I mean, I've done enough of these to know that these enemies can all kill you. Not 1v1, but like, I mean, for example, this guy does slow and sicken. If you get slowed and sickened and another enemy walks up, you're kind of screwed, dude. And Blabby just took on the took a screenshot of my old message. Can you see the rec for this dungeon? Right now we have it set to 4-8. Maxed everything, life, mana. Okay, we just need dex, attack, def, speed maxed. I explained why earlier, why we need speed maxed. And then can we use any ring other than HP or MP? I would recommend bringing HP or MP, but if you're bringing like a Paramount Vit, I would not if you're barely scraping by with a Paramount Vit, then I would not risk coming to this because you'll probably lose your character. Like, just to be honest. Pyra it is. And you can bring a like para HP, para MP kind of thing, because those will be vital to the run. Anyways, continuing on, we're gonna go ahead and look at Beza, whatever his name is. Is Pally still the best class to lead on? I would say most likely Pally is the best class to lead on, for the sake of you can keep yourself alive, but I'm gonna say that Pally is not as good for Oryx 3 as it once was, especially during testing, because they nerfed or they just fixed the bug where you can we're not doing it today. Yeah, Oryx 3 is not out yet. We're just doing this discussion so that people who are looking to raid lead or looking to do raids are extra prepared. I am gonna make this a video on my YouTube channel for those who are looking into really doing this in the future. It will be Exalt only. Yeah, it'll be Exalt only, but hopefully they fix the servers by then. I'm not gonna hold my breath, but I hope and pray. Yeah, I know. Most people will DC. I hope and I pray. If they don't fix servers by then, I'll just be so sad. Anyways, it's not in our control. All we can do is control how good we are and how prepared we are to do raids. So with that said, let's look at this new boss together. So I've watched all of the live playthroughs a couple of times, and it reminds me a lot of the Crystal Worm from Fungal Cavern. And it seems to be just that boss fight notched up just a tad. And piercing classes are kind of useful here, but you can still damage the boss. I remember them saying that these guys respawn as you kill them, so the only one that you really want to focus on killing is Chief himself. You cannot choose what mini boss you want to do. And yeah, so basically it's a lot like the Crystal Worm Mother with more sporadic phases. I'm pretty sure that's a chase phase, and then he just kind of runs mid afterwards. But he takes a lot of Oryx 3's attacks, it feels like, and implements it into his own game, and does a lot of chases. He's a very aggro style boss, I guess you could say. But anyways, we're just gonna watch through this. I don't see too many big issues. I'm pretty sure that group silenced everyone. It looks like it did. So everyone's silenced during this phase. So you can still heal with HP MP pots, but you cannot use abilities to heal. Which is why we think that, you know, having high HP is good, obviously. And I have a small means of countering this kind of silence focused fight that I'm not going to talk about because either UGC members might hear me say it or someone on the Deca team might hear me say it, and I want the cheese to at least be usable for a few days before it gets patched, or they try and do something about it. But there will be a way to most likely get around silence to some capacity. It won't be like flaw proof or anything, and it'll require effort, but it's a legitimate strategy, and it's just something that we have to prepare for. You believe it's based on exalted attacks? Kind of, yeah. Anyways, most of this just feels like damage phase, and I don't think that it's a very, not a very group-based, just standing still kind of thing, because of how he chases. It's much more a spread out and kind of rotate with him kind of fight, which I think is good. Rather than just sitting as a group and waiting for him to come to you, you kind of just have to go to him and do damage, which, I don't know, yeah. But it seems like he just chases a lot with his little minions, and can be kind of sketch, but not the worst thing in the world. Let's see here, what is he doing? Is he throwing out grenades as well? Looked like he was. And then there's guys rotating around the edge, it looks like, during different phases. And he spawns more minions as he gets closer to dying. Kind of obnoxious. And you sit in the water. I'm pretty sure it's damaging water. I don't remember off the top of my head. I wanted Feet Picks to walk in the water. Oh well. I'm pretty sure it's damaging water though, so I wouldn't recommend it. Similar to Pure Evil. Probably 75 base. Come on, Feet. Touch the water. We'll check. Anyways, this phase though, he does a lot of damage. Those black shots I think do like base 250 or 300 each, which is kind of nuts. Maybe even higher. And you just kind of have to watch out. What spawned those black shots? Those little birds did? I assume those birds can insta-pop you. So if you're looking at raiding or raid leading, you're definitely gonna want to call those birds, because those birds are gonna insta-pop you. I can almost guarantee you those would be insta-pops. Killing these minions seems like they'd probably be useless because they respawn. So you just kind of want to focus on the chief man himself and keep doing damage. I think I remember the Deca team talking about how they respawn, so killing them is pretty irrelevant. You just... they don't immediately respawn, but they do respawn, so it's like, just focus on boss. Yeah. This one doesn't seem like that bad of a fight. I like the fight design and everything, but I just don't think it's that bad of a fight. And I'm pretty sure that these banners, if you're standing within the same square as them, you'll get silenced. So whenever Feet Picks you see is standing in this square as the banner shows up, so he moves into the square, right? He gets silenced. Moves out, moves into another square with the banner, still silenced. As soon as he walks out of this square here, boom, he's unsilenced. So avoiding those will be a pretty essential part of the fight. And it looks like they despawn after a while from what we just saw there. There's one that despawns. So don't know how long it is, but yeah, you're just going to want to avoid those silences. Avoid the green banners. And it looks like he was in a rage phase right there where he's just chasing mindlessly. So he's close to dead. This would be pretty good for ranges as well. Ranges will be pretty viable during Oryx 3 as well. Demon Blade will also be useful in Oryx 3, which you'll see later. And no, that wasn't quite a rage phase, but he's just kind of doing his thing and running around the room. I don't know how scary he is when you're actually trying to do damage to him, but this phase actually looks kind of nuts. It's a lot of shots. Got a little path through here. Oh, and he shoots out those blades, and as they impact the ground, they do damage. All of these here. Kind of hard to see on the playback. Not too bad though. Feet Pick starts flashing. This is definitely one of those phases you want to stay as a group. If you get left behind, just wait for the group to come to you, because looks like you're just kind of forced to rotate during that phase. And Feet Pick's point of view, not the best, to be fair. But he was also reading chat, so I can be super mad. This looks like Rage Phase, I'm pretty sure. It looks like he has multiple stages of Rage Phase. He looks mad, dude. And he starts zooming around with some ghost minions. Jeez. Yeah, so you just have to make sure you avoid the silences and the birds. Doing damage. Focus on dodging. Doing damage is second priority. Huh. Looks like a pretty nutty fight. Usually it feels easier to dodge in person than it does in watching the playbacks. At least for me it does, so should be pretty viable to dodge that with some decent skill. Those arcing shots are really annoying, by the way, because they're super hard to predict. Even though it looks easy to predict, it's not. And I'm pretty sure those guys do nothing afterwards. Anyways, yeah. That's those three. Any thoughts or opinions on that? Bruh, greater mana pot.
Yeah, I have something to add on. So whenever you kill a minion, that minion stops shooting. So piercing weapons can be somewhat more useful in this fight compared to others. And also, whenever the minions are right next to a banner, they get buffed. You will see them start flashing red, I believe, and I just believe that their shots just do more damage in general.
So yeah, you can see them flashing red there. And so you're saying when they turn like blue, they're oh yeah. So when they're blue, they're stunned. Cool. I did not know that. Wasn't something I noticed, but it's very cool to know. So when they're near banners, they're buffed, doing more stuff. So maybe there's a way that raid leaders are gonna tactically drag around. So looked like he couldn't go into water, by the way, like with shatters. And again, no one stood in the water. So, I mean, it might be worth testing. Might lose a couple characters testing it, but it would be worth testing. And drop tables aren't finalized yet, or at least weren't finalized as the time of this recording. So maybe there'll be more guaranteed than a greater mana. Yeah, no, the water probably won't be in the final version. The latest blog post had a screenshot of his arena. That's a good point. Alright, let's go ahead. Alright, we'll start Oryx. Certain phases are really good for damage, and certain ones are really bad. When it comes to raid leading / doing Oryx as a whole, you're gonna want to... It's a much more reactive fight compared to, like, for, say, Marble Colossus or Void. When it comes to Marble Colossus and Void, being a raid leader or raider is all about being preemptive, knowing what's going to happen next, and then getting in position to deal with what is going to happen next. This is completely the opposite. When it comes to Oryx 3, the only thing routine about it is killing these statues, and the phases get harder the longer you go. I really like the touch of having him drink a wine glass. He throws it, and it does drunk, which is just a great touch. It'll be really hard to see based on the text here. Maybe Soul Shift has... I hope Soul Shift has text bubbles on, because it'll be really important for illustrating a point. Alright, cool. There's that. Okay, there's Oryx 3. Very beginning of an Oryx 3. Alright, here we go. We can work with this. So, can we go back and forth? Okay, we can. Cool. So, this is the same Oryx, I think. Okay. Can't use spacebar to pause? Question mark? Okay, I can. Cool. Alright, so, Soul Shift decided to get drunk. These towers here, okay, I guess we'll wait for him to get undrunked. There you go. These towers here, you're going to want to kill at all cost. When he's in his, like, regular color scheme, destroying one of them will make him armored. Destroying two of them will make him, what's it called? Just regularly damageable, and then destroying 3 will make him armor broken, meaning that it's really easy to stagger and do lots of damage whenever all 3 statues are down. So as you can see right now, he's armor broken. He'll be armor broken for a while because all 3 of those statues are currently destroyed. And they added a lot of cool animations to indicate what's going to happen. So as a raid leader or a raider, you're going to be able to react to what he says as a way of indicating what he's going to do next. So the cosmos shall rain down, shall rain upon you. I just see cosmos shall rain, and personally, I know it's always going to be this. It'll be these shots that come down from the sky like meteors, and it's a really, really good damage phase. If the raid leader's fast enough in calling it, it's very, very easy to push in and do enough damage to have them stagger. Okay, people are responding. The problem with Oryx 3, though, is if you damage them and you're not supposed to, as you saw over there, there's a chat bubble that said counter. Can we go back a little bit? What got them countered? Okay, so they get countered right off the bat, actually, which is really annoying. So he puts his short. Okay, he does this phase, which is okay. That's actually a super good stagger phase. This one's called Ground Quakes from My Splendor, and he shoots a bunch of they almost look like grapes. They used to just look like grenades, but it'll say the ground quakes from my splendor. As a raid leader, I see that, I say, oh, everyone going for damage, because he does a bunch of these dots grenades. They all do sicken, but if you have a quick enough group or someone can manage to avoid one of the sickens, like a priest or something, then you can still heal through them just fine. Or not heal through them just fine, but like you'll just be able to push him so fast that it won't even matter that you're taking 100 damage each phase. Even if you face tank every one of these, if you have maxed life, I'm pretty sure you'll survive anyways, but that won't be the case because you'll be able to push him and stagger him anyways, which brings up the topic of staggering and countering. If you do enough damage fast enough during a phase, you will stagger him. He will be free for damage for about 3 to 5 seconds usually, and then the counter to that, or the opposite of that, is countering. It's when he will lift his shield up in front of him, like this, and you can see that he went invulnerable for about a second there. You'll see the blue shield above his head as an indicator, and then he lifts up his shield in front of him. If you shoot him during this time period, you risk getting the group a debuff that lasts for 30 seconds. So in this case, they shoot him a crap ton. They're gonna get countered. The whole group gets sickened. It's unpuriable. Obviously sicken's unpuriable, but all counters are unpuriable. It's an AoE effect. You cannot cure it for 30 seconds. If the group was to get sickened for say, I would just say as a raid leader, hey, everyone back up, try and survive, try and put decoys on Oryx 3, survive until this wears off. The fight itself doesn't reward you or penalize you for taking a long time, so there's no incentive to do it faster. But killing those towers constantly is really important. Every time you see him with a green health bar under him, you want to make sure to call it out and say, hey, kill the towers, because then you do more damage to Oryx. So I think the top one's still alive, and now it's dead, so then he got armor broken. And then this phase, once again, ground quakes from my splendor. Very good damage phase. If they were just pushing in, they would stagger him easily, and then they go for a counter again. That for some reason, everyone just seems to shoot him anyways, including Deca Unibro. And so they all get countered with weakened. So if you shoot him when the shield's up, you're going to get countered. As a kind of briefing, I will likely say, hey, if he raises his shield, I'm going to call it in chat, but I may be too slow. If you see him raise his shield in front of his body, stop shooting him, or else it'll just make the fight harder for everyone. In which case, happens here, and everyone gets weakened. I'm pretty sure you can get pet stasis weakened. I think it's either pet stasis or, okay, they got, okay, no, it's silenced, weakened, exposed, or sicken. I'm pretty sure are the 4 debuffs that can come from counter. And that's just, it's very detrimental to the group. You can't stagger when weakened, and you kind of just have to do minimal damage for 30 seconds. This phase, slice through your pathetic whatever. Very easy to do damage. Just very easy damage phase. Being constantly aware of these red shots that pet stasis is very important as well. Pet stasis, very bad. Everyone knows that. And you just really want to focus on dodging that. Once again, Cosmos Mobile Rain. I would say, hey, everyone push in, do damage, because it's super easy to. Unless he counters like a nerd, in which case they all get countered. Actually, no, they didn't have enough people attacking him to get countered, which is cool. This phase, once again, ground quakes, super easy damage phase, and then they push him to dance. So, dance phase, everyone knows dance phase from Oryx 1 and 2. Not a very hard phase in Oryx 1 or 2, but it's one of the more fun ones. Dance does literally nothing except for set up and indicate that, hey, you're about halfway through my health. Good job. I think it's actually slightly more than halfway through his health. But he hits a certain threshold, and then he sets up these AoE stuff, and the fight gets harder overall. And you just want to keep breaking towers, stuff like that as it happens. There's AoE stuff going around the outside. Rather than shrinking the arena, they make it to where if you go towards the edge, you take more damage, which I think is a neat mechanic. And we got ground quakes, really good damage phase. I would love to see this as a raid leader. Like just going in during ground quakes would be so nice all the time, but not always. Not always the move. And super easy to back out too if you get low on health. Cosmos will rain. Once again, another great damage phase because he really just kind of shoots those everywhere. It's harder. The further you get, Cosmos gets harder and harder the further you go, but it remains a good damage phase throughout the entire fight. Soul Shift doesn't really stand your Oryx that much, to be honest. But then again, he didn't do very much on testing either, so it's fair enough. We're gonna work with what we got. Crushing the life out of you is when he turns to Exalted. You can kind of see that D right there. The glory of God above others is when he turns to Exalted. You can see that D. That exclamation point is the him saying Exalted. Miserable mutts, my shield will smash you to pieces. I've not seen the phase start yet, but he's gonna chase in a straight line at the closest player and do it 3 times. And let's see here. There he goes. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. Then he stops. And every slice will slash. We saw that one. So as a raid leader or a raider, you're just going to be reacting to what he says. And he just barely gives you enough time to react to what he says or either the animation. You either learn by text or you learn by animation. And so every phase has an animation correlating to it, which is really cool. But also at the same time, you know, kind of hard. Does ground quakes. They don't want to go in, which is fair whenever he's middle. Yeah, I think it's just above half when he turns Exalted. And there will probably not be another testing session for Oryx 3. The Deca team was talking about how much they disliked, not Deca team, but like, they don't want anyone getting free, what's it called? This much free practice without risk of dying. So there's a bunch of different things like melt before my fury. I think I'd use the text that's being covered by our man Soul Shift, and he chases and does these rings of shots. But for the most part, I knew basically every phase by text, and I still know most of them. This one, for example, is just a chase phase. You can decoy him, or you can have him dragged around the room. And pretty easy. Fleeing is futile is once again. Actually, fleeing is futile is this phase called Beyblade phase. And this one, I think you just don't want to mess with them. And he does a skip. He actually does a skip on that one, which is really annoying that he can do it, but he does. And then we get introduced. So the damage each phase increases, goes Exalted. Yes, so for example, ground quakes. For my Splendor, the one that we saw quite a few times, the damage increases and there's more stuff on the battlefield whenever you're fighting them in Exalted phase. So there's like the AoE stuff moving around, and you've got the pet stasis shots. So ground quakes during Exalted does more damage, but it's still easily staggerable. So does Cosmos. There's plenty of other phases, but that's just kind of up to the raid leader to learn and predict what's going to happen. And it's not the worst thing in the world. So, Celestial Strength. This one is kind of hard to explain. I'm actually really glad he's zoomed in on the map because I can illustrate this really a lot better. This one is pee pee poo poo, dog doo doo. Everyone hates this phase, all right? But they made it easier in my opinion, except for everyone is silenced. This is a very key point. I have a method to countering this, but I don't want to say it yet because 1, it's very easy to pull off. 2, I don't want them doing anything about it so I can actually use it before it's finalized. I really hope they don't think it's like some super game breaking glitch and like make this phase even harder. But essentially what he's going to do is he's going to run around. Where is he going? Okay, there he goes. He's going to run around. He's going to start out by running to the right-ish. And then, he'll start by running to the right-ish and up. And then he'll do a half circle and start shooting at the bottom left. And then he'll do 3 full rotations after that. And then stop. So, my strategy for doing this is I want to start by standing on the left side. So he's going to go around. He won't start shooting until he's down here. So we'll see the first wave of shots coming at like this general direction because he starts shooting around here. So there it is. That's that first wave of shots. And all of these pet stasis shots you can weave in between pretty well. It's not the easiest thing, and they stop shooting occasionally, which you can take that to your advantage. Soul Shift probably dies here. Yeah, so you want to start over here, and then as he rotates around, on the last rotation, you rotate down to the bottom, because since he starts shooting here, if you stand on the left side of the room, you don't have to tank the full, you don't have to worry about dodging the full shotgun. So you stand here, you barely get the beginning of the phase. And then by the end, you rotate down to here, and since he stops shooting, when he finishes the phase on the left side, you essentially only have to do the phase, or do the rotation 3 times instead of 4. Now, they actually are really bad at surviving this phase and actually need 4 like health towers in order to survive. So I'm going to try and skip forward to where they actually make it through one, which seems to be this one right here, because I saw them at the loot. Okay, so there's the... Okay, they're not there yet. Alright, so there's the there's the fountains, and then armor crumple. Alright, we're getting kind of close to Celestial. Fleeing is futile. I don't know if that's just a coincidence. No, it was a coincidence. Fleeing is futile. They push him to a certain point. I think at a certain health, he's guaranteed to do a Celestial Strength, and then it's possible for it to happen multiple times afterwards if you don't do enough damage. So they're on the fountains, and they're all the way zoomed out. But as you'll see, he'll start by rotating out this way, start shooting over here. And there it goes. That's his first shot. So if we start on the left, you know, we're going to be chilling. Because he just starts shooting here. You basically don't have to dodge. Have to heal through one or dodge through one of these phases on the left side. Take another one on the left side. And then take one more on the left side. And then what I would propose we do is after he runs past, we rotate down towards the bottom. And he'll stop shooting on the left. And that way we don't have to deal with a 4th full shotgun rotation. Because he stopped shooting right over there. And so if we're down at the bottom, we essentially don't have to dodge on that final rotation as well. So we minimize risk, but this is still super scary phase. How to dodge this phase, I'll do my best on explaining it. I skipped way too far back. Gotta love long VODs. Skip back. There it is. Alright, cool. So, for dodging this phase, it's actually not as hard as it looks. It's really chaotic if you don't know what to expect. The pet stasis is, rather than just phase taking them, there's usually a gap that changes spots every time running around. But if there's no gap, you can actually weave through these shots with pretty solid consistency. So you're going to want to weave through, and you kind of want to like look. Alright, so where is going to be an opening? You can see, you could either run here, and there's not going to be any shots, or you can see, oh, there's a little opening gap here. Soul Shift takes that little opening gap, but he's shot another shotgun by then, which you just kind of have to react to. And then we'll take another round. He sneaks through there, which is good, so he avoids getting pet stasis, so he can still heal. You've got these shots all coming from here, and you've got these coming here and here. Just stand here, like you're going to be fine. Like you would have been completely fine just standing there. Once again, avoids that pet stasis very well. And then he comes around. That was a super easy dodge phase. And last but not least, standing down here, just work your way to that open space. It's just a matter of taking lines, getting to open space, and trying your best to avoid pet stasis. And it's not super bad. Once again, you're probably like, dude, if I get hit by a couple of the shots, like, how am I supposed to survive? We have no heals. Not exactly. I'll explain it later. There's a way that we're gonna try and figure out a way to heal you guys through those phases. And since we're realm clearing, it'll be doable. I'm keeping that a secret for now, and it'd be a pretty good strat. Pretty good strat. Yeah. So for those of you who knew about testing beforehand, Celestial phase was the phase where the majority of the people died. They toned down Celestial. I'll show it again one last time for the couple people who just joined. As he does Celestial, it used to be he would move slower around the room. His shot time would be the same still. So he was moving slower around the room than he was now, but his shots were still shot at the same time interval. So they were closer together and more cramped, and finding lanes for dodging was extremely hard. But finding lanes for dodging now seems a lot easier than it did on the previous testing, which feels really good to me. Making it silence, I could do without the change, but I could understand why they did it. They made it much easier to dodge, so they made it harder in another way. But we'll try and get around that, boys. We'll try and get around it. Anyways, yeah, Celestial, he always staggers after Celestial, so pushing in to do damage is a really good idea. He usually pops back up for a counter, though. In this case, he doesn't, but a lot of the times he'll pop back up with the shield in front of him, so just be prepared for counters whenever you stagger Oryx. Every phase after Celestial was made harder from the previous iteration, so it's harder to do literally every phase afterwards, just by a little bit. It's not like extremely hard or anything. All of these phases are a lot more toned down than Celestial. If you can make it through Celestial, you can kind of take a quick sigh of relief, but not really, because all of these phases are still very, very deadly if you're not paying attention. And you have to keep focusing on towers. This is one of the peoples that are doing the protective barrier. Whenever Oryx 3 is focused on, or whenever Oryx 3 turns into Exalted, instead of it being 1 tower down, he's armored, 2 towers down, he's damageable, 3 towers down, he's armor broken. It turns into with all 3 towers up, he's invincible. 2 towers up, he's invincible. 1 tower up, he's armored, and then all 3 towers down, he's regularly damageable. So it's really important to do damage throughout all of this. Trickster TP past the shots. Tricksters can TP past the shots, but you also risk getting popped like just by on already converging shots. Runs at this point will probably take around 15 minutes from entering Oryx Sanctuary. Maybe shorter, depending on the HP scaling. And yeah, if you have to realm clear too, it could take longer, but the whole run itself will probably take 25-30 minutes because of clearing Oryx. If we decide to do Janus, we do Janus, then we do Oryx 1, Oryx 2, Oryx 3, and if we don't have all 3 runes, then anyways, all of these phases were made harder from testing to counterbalance the slight nerf to the Celestial phase. All of them very damaging. You want to be very careful when running away. It's just, there's a lot of running, and this is where decoys come super in handy. There's a lot of phases where Trickster decoys will become very, very useful, and yeah, but there's a lot of great opportunities to do damage. You cannot escape. He will always do these weakened shots, and then he'll start chasing after he sets up a field of weakened shots. Staying as a group during these phases is also very preferred for the sake of having heals, pally heals, furies, stuff like that. Statues respawning the entire Oryx fight? Yes, indeed. Anyways, he just teleports. Once again, Cosmos will rain. He's going to start shooting all these meteors around everywhere. Great phase to do damage if you know what you're doing. And yeah, so let's see here. Nowhere to hide. He's going to run around the outside of the map. It's a rotation phase. You can rotate with him. This one's actually a pretty good damage phase as well. Yeah, he just kind of rotates. And we got a Fortnite ad, so thanks, Twitch. Thank you. Yeah, having raiders put a T in chat or something like that, or have a secondary raid leader who's able to call statues and stuff like that, and only statues. Season 3, guys. Hope you guys are ready. I like Season 3 of Chapter 1. Good old days. Gaming with the boys. Anyways, as you can see, he's armored right now, which means one of the towers is up. There it is. That tower's up. And there we go. These walls are actually not too hard to dodge. If you see these walls as a raid leader, you're going to want to call them out, try and have the group avoid them. They're pretty easy to just run past if you understand the timing. Just run through right after the other ones finish shooting. Their hitbox really doesn't linger. So it's like as soon as it touches down, the hitbox will deactivate. And it's pretty safe. So, like for example, those hitboxes are already deactivated by now once the particles go away. So like it's completely safe to run past now, and you just kind of have to run through them, call out those walls, and just heal as you cross. It's kind of like crossing the water. Even if you get hit, you'll be fine, especially with heals. Fleeing is futile. Let's see here. Nowhere to hide. Rotation phase once again. Really good for just rotating and doing damage on melees. This is another reason why we have max speed as a requirement. We want people to be able to run around with Oryx for these rotation phases, because that's a very good way to get damage, and possibly staggers as well. So, yeah. So, what do we have here? Strike you down. Strike you down is just another rotation phase, except for more along the outside. Soul Shift probably should have died there, and I think they got countered. They definitely got countered. Wait, did they get countered? What the heck? What exposed? Alright, well, apparently one of those shots exposes, so more testing to be done, or they just added that recently. No way. Wait, they did get countered. How did they get countered? No, okay, it wasn't counter. Cool. Wasn't a counter. Shield was that chase phase. This one, just kind of like run through it, honestly. Like, you'll be fine. Let's see what else. Soul Shift is just busy not dying. Stand back, no cowardice. This one he just stands middle. This one's a decent damage phase with like an M-seal or something, because these shots don't armor pierce, so if you get an M-seal down, you can probably stagger him during this phase pretty easily. M-seals are actually super busted for this fight, because not everything armor pierces, so M-seals are M-seals are nice. Okay, anyways, see that shield up? If you're a raid leader or looking to become a raid leader, first thing to know, if you see a shield, just yell at everyone, stop shooting. Kind of ass, you know? Boo-boo, ass, trash. Yeah. Ground quakes, I saw those shots, and then you'll never be through. Whenever he gets to like, I don't know, maybe like 2% health, maybe something like that, he staggers himself, goes mid, and it's a chest phase, which is kind of nice. And so, for example, here, like, even if he was invulnerable because statues were still up, he would be damageable until death here. And so that's actually what happens, ironically enough. The statues come back up, so they have to kill statues in order to damage him, but he won't wake back up, as scary as it may be. And so they break one of those towers, go back in, and do more damage. This is why EPs are actually kind of useful in Demon Blades, because when he's staggered, it's completely safe, hopefully, completely safe to go in EP, D-Blade, stuff like that, because you can just, as soon as he gets back up, you immediately back out. So there he goes. Soul Shift gets a good old T14, T15, D6. Apparently what happens is there's going to be a new top set, a guaranteed one new top set dropped per Oryx 3. So likelihood of you getting a new top set from a big group, pretty small. Small groups are better, but at the same time, you're kind of going to have that survival of the fittest thing going on. I don't expect much more than 30, 40 people to finish runs on the first day. One, because of Exalt DCs. Two, because of the dungeon just being hard. Nexusing, death, stuff like that. But I'm looking forward to getting my hands on the new items. And yeah, if you are looking for Oryx 3 stuff, I'll be posting more. Shameless plug, I know. I will be streaming it whenever it comes out on Twitch, on my Twitch TS page 7. And my YouTube will have videos related to Oryx 3. I'm actually already working on a guide right now for Oryx 3, which will be coming out hopefully within a week of Oryx 3's release. Both of those are linked on my Discord if for some reason you do want to check that out. But strategy discussion, if you do have questions about Oryx 3 in any capacity that I didn't cover or that you may have missed, feel free to type that in hashtag strategy discussion. I'll try and answer as many questions as possible. Yeah. I caught a few people in here. It's free chest phase. It's free real estate. Oh, what do you know? I was in chat during this. Surprising? No. Not at all. Anyways, we probably will have raid leader applications up after release at some point. If you are looking at raid leading or doing something like that in the future. For the TRLs and people that are also RLs, thanks for hopping by. This kind of info session, very important. ARL just to RL, yeah. Basically, once you understand it, you understand it. And yeah, if there's no more questions, I will end this off here. You can PM me about stuff later. And yeah, thanks for hopping by, everyone. Alright, cool. Looks like we're